Have you ever stopped to think about the greatest mystery of existence? Before time, before space, before everything we know, there was a presence. God. But the big question is, where did God come from? Was he created? If so, by whom? Or has he always existed, sovereign and eternal? In this video, we will explore the unknown, dive into questions that challenge logic, and discover what philosophers, scientists, and theologians have to say about the beginning of everything. Stay until the end, as the answers might change your perspective on the universe. Imagine for a moment absolute emptiness. No sound, no light, no movement. Only an invisible, powerful, and eternal presence. God. Before the universe existed, even before the concept of time was created, he was already there. But the question that has challenged our mind since the dawn of time is, if God created everything, who created God? Has he always existed, or is there something even greater than the Creator himself? These are questions that, throughout the centuries, have intrigued both philosophers and scientists. From ancient Greece to modern times, great thinkers have sought to understand the principle of everything. Socrates, Aristotle, and Plato delved into the concept of a primary cause, something that did not require any other factor to exist. Later, Christian theologians like St. Augustine and Thomas Aquinas tried to answer this same question based on faith and reason. And in the modern world, scientists have explored the universe in search of signs of an origin, perhaps attempting to find traces of the divine touch. But why is this question so challenging? After all, our minds are accustomed to the idea of cause and effect. Everything that exists seems to have had a beginning. So how is it possible for something, or someone, to be eternal, without beginning or end? For many, the answer lies in the very definition of God. He is not just the creator, he is the essence of existence, something so fundamental that it transcends time and space. Think of the universe as the greatest puzzle ever created. Each piece represents something we know: galaxies, stars, planets, and even you. However, what connects all these pieces? What brings order to the chaos? Many believe that connection is God. He not only created the universe, he sustains every detail of it, from the physical laws to the most intimate moments of our existence. But let's delve even deeper. If God has always existed, where was he before creating the universe? And what motivated this creation? Some scholars suggest that the act of creation was an expression of love, a desire to share his infinite existence. Others believe it was a way to manifest his glory, revealing his complexity through the beauty of the cosmos and life. But these are just theories. At its core, we may never fully comprehend the divine mind. What we can observe, however, is that the idea of God as eternal is deeply rooted in the world's major religions. In Christianity, for example, God is described as the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. In Islam, he is Al-Baqi, the Eternal. And in Judaism, he is YHWH, I am who I am, an expression of self-existence. Despite cultural and theological differences, all these traditions agree on one point: God is beyond any human limit. On the other hand, science has offered a new perspective on the origins of the universe. The Big Bang theory, widely accepted, suggests that everything began from a single point of unimaginably dense energy that expanded to form everything we see today. But even this explanation leaves us with a question: what existed before the Big Bang? Science does not yet have a definitive answer, but many believe the mystery points to something greater, something that transcends the boundaries of human knowledge. And so, we return to the central question: who created God? This question, although seemingly simple, challenges our logic because it assumes that everything must have a beginning. But what if God is the exception? What if he is the only truly eternal being, the source of everything that exists? This idea may be difficult to accept, but it is also profoundly comforting. It reminds us that, despite all the uncertainties of life, there is something greater that sustains us. In the next part, we will explore how the idea of an eternal God connects with our daily existence and how this can transform the way we see the world. Don't go anywhere, because the answers might just change your life. Now that we understand the context of the idea of an eternal and creator God, let us explore a fascinating aspect: how the perception of a creator influences the way we see the universe and our place in it. Imagine the universe as a gigantic clock, each gear working perfectly to ensure the movement of time. Each star, galaxy, and atom is positioned so precisely that it almost seems intentional. Could this all be a mere coincidence, or are we looking at evidence of intelligent design? If we think about the laws that govern the universe, like gravity or the speed of light, we realize that everything seems finely tuned to allow life. Some scientists call this the fine-tuning of the cosmos. The question is, who calibrated these laws? For many, this level of precision cannot be explained by chance alone. It is like finding a perfectly functioning clock in the middle of the desert. It would be hard to believe it simply appeared there on its own. On the other hand, some believe the universe can be explained without the need for a creator. Defenders of atheism argue that everything that exists can be attributed to natural processes. However, even those natural processes follow rules and patterns that still challenge our understanding. Where did those rules come from? Why does the universe follow logic instead of being completely chaotic? Let us return to the central idea of God. If he is eternal, as religions and traditions affirm, this means that he not only created everything but also remains present in every detail of existence. Think about nature, for example. Every leaf on a tree, every grain of sand, every drop of rain seems to bear the mark of something greater. For many, this connection between the creator and creation is what gives life its meaning. But if God is present in everything, how does he interact with us? The answer to this question varies depending on whom you ask. For Christians, God communicates through his word in the Bible and supernatural events. For others, he manifests in the small things of daily life: a moment of peace, an unexpected solution to a problem, or even the beauty of a sunset. Whatever the case, the belief in God as eternal and present is a source of comfort and hope for billions of people around the world. Another intriguing question is, how can we reconcile the idea of an eternal God with modern science? The Big Bang Theory, for example, suggests that the universe had a beginning, but this does not contradict the idea of a creator. In fact, many theologians and scientists believe that the Big Bang could be the way God brought the universe into existence. After all, something must have caused that initial explosion. That something could very well be God himself, transcending time and space to create everything. Moreover, the idea of an eternal creator leads us to reflect on the purpose of life. If God created us, why did he do so? For Christians, the answer is clear: we were created to reflect the image of God and live in communion with him. This belief gives meaning to our existence and inspires us to seek something greater than ourselves. But even for those who do not follow a specific religion, the idea of a creator can awaken a sense of wonder and curiosity about the universe and its purpose. Finally, we cannot ignore the doubts many people have about the existence of God. If he is so powerful and good, why does suffering exist? Why does evil exist? These questions are profound and complex, but they are also an essential part of the dialogue about God and his relationship with the world. Many believe that suffering is a consequence of free will, while others see it as an opportunity for growth and learning. Whatever the answer, the very fact that we seek to understand it is already a sign that our existence is more than random. In the next part, we will delve even deeper into the evidence of an eternal creator and discuss how these reflections can transform the way we live. Stay with me, because the best is yet to come. Now that we are reflecting on the idea of an eternal God and the role he plays in creation, let us deepen a fascinating question: how does this belief directly impact our lives and our understanding of the universe? If God is eternal, omnipotent, and transcends time and space, this means that he has a complete view of everything that has already happened, what is happening, and what is yet to come. For many, this is a source of comfort; for others, it is a mystery impossible to fully comprehend. Think about it: if everything has a purpose and nothing is random, how does this perspective change the way we see our own lives? When we face difficulties, losses, or moments of uncertainty, the idea that there is a greater creator, guiding every detail, can bring peace amidst the chaos. Many believe that God not only created the universe, but remains active in it, guiding and supporting us in ways we may not immediately perceive. Throughout history, this belief has shaped cultures, traditions, and even scientific progress. Many of the first scientists were deeply religious people who saw their work as a way to understand more about God's creation. Isaac Newton, for example, believed that science was a means of discovering the laws God had established for the universe. For them, science and faith were not opposites, but complementary. And even today, many wonder, do our modern discoveries bring us closer to or farther from this idea of a creator? On the other hand, there is a question that may trouble us. If God created everything, then why is there so much suffering in the world? Why do bad things happen even to people who believe in and trust Him? This dilemma is not new. It has been discussed by philosophers and theologians throughout the centuries. A common explanation is that suffering is part of a world where people have free will, the ability to make choices. This free will is seen as a divine gift, but also as a responsibility, as our choices have consequences, both good and bad. Another perspective is that suffering teaches us valuable lessons. Difficult moments can help us grow, make us stronger, and bring us closer to God. Many accounts of faith tell stories of people who faced great challenges but found meaning and hope through their belief in a loving Creator. These stories show us that even in the darkest moments, there is a light that can guide us. Moreover, the idea that God is eternal challenges us to think beyond our earthly existence. If God has always existed and will always exist, what does that mean for us? Could our life be just a brief moment within a much greater plan? And what happens after we leave this world? For many, the answer lies in the belief in eternal life, where we will be in communion with God. This perspective gives life meaning and inspires us to live in a more significant way. And speaking of living with meaning, it is impossible not to mention the impact of faith on how we treat one another and the world around us. If we believe that we were created by a God who is love, this encourages us to reflect that love in our actions. Caring for others, protecting the environment, seeking justice, and living with compassion are attitudes that reflect the connection between the Creator and creation. In other words, our belief in God can transform us into agents of positive change in the world. As we explore these ideas, we realize they are not just abstract concepts. They have real implications for how we live, how we relate to others, and how we face life's challenges. Belief in an eternal God invites us to look beyond the immediate, to seek purpose, and to trust that even when we do not understand everything, there is something greater at work. In the next part, we will dive even deeper into this mystery, exploring how the idea of an eternal creator connects with the greatest scientific advancements and what it means for the future of humanity. Stay with me, because this journey is just beginning, and the answers may surprise you. Let us now connect the idea of an eternal God with the greatest scientific discoveries of humanity. For centuries, science and religion have been seen as opposites. On one side, scientists sought answers through numbers, experiments, and observations. On the other, theologians relied on faith and scriptures. But do these two perspectives really contradict each other, or do they, in fact, complement one another? The Big Bang Theory, widely accepted by modern science, is an excellent example of how science can point to the existence of something greater. This theory suggests that the universe had a specific beginning, a moment when everything we know, space, time, and matter, emerged from a single cosmic explosion. But this raises an intriguing question: what triggered that explosion? Who or what pressed the initial button? Some scientists believe the universe could have arisen spontaneously, but even this idea requires specific conditions to occur. For many theologians, the Big Bang is God's signature. It would be the cause behind the cause, the beginning of everything. This does not mean that science proves the existence of God, but rather that it can lead us to reflect on what lies beyond what we can observe and measure. And it does not stop there. When we look at the laws of physics, we see that they operate with incredible precision. The force of gravity, the speed of light, the interaction between subatomic particles, everything seems finely tuned to sustain life. If any of these constants were slightly different, the universe would be completely uninhabitable. This idea, known as the fine-tuning of the universe, is one of the great discussions among scientists and theologians. Could all this be the result of chance, or are we observing the traces of a creator who planned every detail? Another fascinating question is how our consciousness and reasoning ability fit into this equation. Why are we capable of reflecting on our own existence? How is it possible that, over billions of years of evolution, human beings have developed the capacity to question the infinite and seek answers to the mysteries of the cosmos? For many, this constant search is the greatest evidence that we were created in the image and likeness of something greater. Not just as biological beings, but as spiritual beings, capable of love, creativity, and deep thought. Our consciousness sets us apart from everything else we know in the universe. But if our mind is merely the product of chemical reactions in the brain, how can we trust our ability to understand the truth? The answer, for those who believe in God, lies in the fact that our mind was designed by Him. The Bible, for example, says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of His hands." This idea suggests that the universe is like a coded message, an invitation to discover more about the Creator and, at the same time, about ourselves. However, the question remains, who created God? For many, this question seems like an unsolvable paradox. But perhaps the answer lies in the very definition of God. If He is eternal and self-existent, this means He was not created. He simply is. It is difficult for us to comprehend this because everything in our experience has a beginning and an end. However, God, by definition, transcends these limitations. Think of it as the difference between the author of a book and the characters within the story. For the characters, time, events, and even the limits of their world are immutable. But the author exists outside of that reality. He can write, erase, or modify anything. God would be like that author, operating outside the time and space that He Himself created. And if we accept that God is eternal, this leads us to an even deeper conclusion: our existence is also part of something greater. We are not just a cosmic accident or the result of random processes. We are part of a carefully designed plan, with purpose and meaning. This perspective transforms the way we live. It helps us see each moment as an opportunity for connection, growth, and gratitude. Now that we have explored so many perspectives, philosophical, scientific, and spiritual, we have reached a crucial point. The existence of God is a mystery that goes beyond our capacity to understand, but it also invites us to dive deeper into our journey of discovery. It doesn't matter if you are just beginning to explore these questions or if you have spent years reflecting on them, the very act of seeking answers already shows something important: you are part of something grand. Before we finish, I'd like to ask you for a special favor. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel to follow more reflections like this one. This helps a lot in reaching more people and continuing to produce this type of content. And don't forget to check out the next video appearing on your screen right now. I'm sure it will surprise you and enrich your journey even further. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end. May God bless your life, illuminate your paths, and fill your heart with peace and hope. See you in the next video.